Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I bring to you the MyMateVince 500k, yes, 500,000, unbelievable I know, subscriber fantastical extravaganza. What is a fantastical extravaganza? In this instance, absolutely nothing. I just like those two words. But I have gone to the effort to print something out for a change, rather than my standard issue, scribbling it out on a bit of A4 paper. But in true MyMateVince style, when I printed it out and turned off the computer, I then realised that there's a typo in there, and it's how I felt in YouTube rather than how I fell into YouTube. So that's given away what this video is about. It's going to be about how I got into YouTube, how I got the name. I'm going to show my filming equipment, not my tools. I will do a separate video on my tools, the different tools I use for the Fix It videos, but this is going to be like my camera, my tripod, etc. And you'd be surprised about how the cheapness and how little equipment I have. Well, you might not be surprised when you see the quality of my videos, but what I'm getting at is I have got to 500k. That's not a lie. That's proof that obviously there is an audience there. And I don't really think you have to have the best of everything in order to make a living on YouTube. So really that's what this video is going to be about. And also the future. Do I think there's going to be a future in YouTube or not? So I had various different ideas for a 500k video. Most of them related to trying to fix stuff. So I was thinking about buying a Sinclair C5 and then getting a rundown one and trying to restore it. Problem is, quite expensive, and as well as that, have I got the confidence to really be riding that around town? If you're not from the UK, you might not know what that is. It's basically a battery assisted little pedal car that was invented by Clive Sinclair. Type up on Google Sinclair C5 and you'll see what I mean, but unfortunately it was a flop. So a few people mentioned, could I do a Q&A? Haven't been organised enough to actually get the questions in for a Q&A, but I'm hoping that this will probably cover a lot of questions anyway. And you know what, I've never done it before, so why not? It might get a load of thumbs down. Apologies if you don't like it, but remember, it's your choice. You can turn it off right now. I've told you what the video is going to be about, so maybe rather than thumbing down everything, just turn off and move on to something else. So yeah, annoyingly, on YouTube, you don't get a 500,000 award. You get one for 100,000 and one for 1 million. So I have got the silver play button from 100,000, but I won't be getting anything from this, which is a shame because a lot of people will get to 100,000, but they might never get to a million. They might get to 500,000, they might never get to a million. So I started my channel in 2014, and it took up until February 2018. So that's 4 years later to get 100,000 subscribers. But then, in less than 2 years after that, so from 2018 to 2020 now, I have managed to get an additional 400,000. Do I think in the next 2 years I'm going to get another 400,000? No, highly unlikely, but we will talk about that later on. And should you start YouTube? I think there's going to be a lot of information in here. So do you know what I'm going to start with? I'm going to start with showing you my 100,000, my silver play button, because I never ever showed you that. Here it is, hanging up in all its glory, the silver play button. My mate Vince, congratulations on passing 100,000 subscribers, and you can see a reflection of me. There we go. Hello. In the background. A lot of people ask me for a face reveal. There's no need. Just look back at my old Mr. Telephone videos or my challenge videos. So I have done recent videos with my face in it. It's just that if I'm fixing something, I might as well just have my hands in it. You don't need to see me. So, or if I'm doing a how-to video, again, you don't need to see me. You just need to see how the thing works. If you're wondering what that piece of art is next to it, this is by Stephen Wilshire. Google this guy if you don't already know him. He's known as the human camera. So he's an artistic savant. So he does have certain difficulties in life, but basically drawing is definitely not one of them. So he's the guy that can just fly over somewhere like New York and then fly over it for like half an hour, and then he can spend 2 or 3 days doing a massive landscape, and it will nearly be perfect. It might not be 100% perfect, but it's not far off. For example, if you look at like St. Paul's there, and you can see columns and windows and this, that and the other, in real life there will be probably that amount of columns. If you look at other buildings and stuff and you see different levels, if there's 10 levels here, there's a good chance in real life it will have 10 levels. Now some people might think that's easy, but if you think you might have lived in your house now for 5 or 10 years, later on get a piece of paper out and try to draw your house. Yes, you'll probably get the shape of the windows and the door in the right place, but are you going to get every single opener off that window to scale in the correct place? Are you going to know how many bricks there are between the ground and going right up to the eaves? Are you going to know what your guttering looks like and how many tiles and stuff you have on the roof? Unlikely. Well, this guy would. He is amazing. So look him up, Stephen Wiltshire. Anyway, waffling on. Let's get back to the video. Let's get started. Background. How did I get into YouTube? Well, had a normal upbringing in northwest London and working class upbringing, and basically went on to college, went on to university, left university, started working at Kodak in the research and development department, really liked it, but I was just there as a casual. Then I got a job in BT as a telephone engineer, which was like full-time, a proper job, and I was there for probably about 8 or 9 years. When I left BT because I wanted to set myself up as Mr. Telephone. So basically a telephone engineer that you would just look in the yellow pages and get when you want to have internal faults fixed or extra extension points or your broadband or Ethernet points, that kind of thing. So basically, I was doing that. At the same time, I was also working for an electrician, doing the same sort of thing, running Cat5 cable, Cat6 cable, like audio-visual type stuff. And at the same time, I was also selling on eBay because the equipment I needed to do my job as Mr. Telephone, I didn't want to use the stuff from B&Q and Screwfix and stuff because no offence to those companies, but the stuff they buy in is kind of like... it's not professional stuff when it comes to the telecom side of things. So I was getting my stuff from places like companies like Pressac, which would make for BT, but with BT they would have a BT logo. With my stuff it was plain, but I still have to buy sockets in the hundreds, and I still have to buy cables and stuff like drums of 350 meter cables, but you'd have to buy numerous ones to get the good pricing. So then what would happen is I would break that down into smaller amounts and sell it on eBay. So if you wanted an Ethernet kit, rather than having to buy a box of 305 meters and loads of sockets, I would sell you 10 meters or 20 meters with 2 back boxes, 2 sockets, the punch down tools. I would even give you the little wall plugs and the screws and instructions, so you had everything you needed. If you wanted external cable, I would sell external cable. I wouldn't just sell it by the 50 meter or 100 meter. I would sell you 15 meters if you wanted it, and that's how I made my money. And it was all going very good. I was basically doing my eBay in the morning, then I'd be with the electrician in the day, then I would do Mr. Telephone on the way home at night, fit in a job, do it all weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and I would also do eBay again at night and in the morning. Problem is, you can't go on like this forever because I was working literally every single hour apart from the hours that I was sleeping. So yes, earning good money, but also probably not best maybe health-wise. And also like I was married at the time and stuff like that. You've got to devote time in other areas as well. So something had to give. So what I thought to myself is, out of all of this, the thing I'm enjoying the most is eBay, because I can work from home, and at the time it was really growing. For example, if I started to sell, I don't know, like CT100 cable, like satellite cable, all of a sudden it was like, wow, making all this extra money each day. It was literally whatever you posted on eBay, it would start selling. It was fantastic. And to put it into perspective how things have changed, so what happened was I started doing it full time, but then only about 6 months into it, the Northern Rock thing happened, and all the meltdown happened, where basically around 2008, 2009, and everything went wrong with the economy. I suppose people weren't building as much, maybe people were scared, nobody was spending, and eBay was just constant down, down, down. So then what would happen is it'd be going like, downwards, and then I'd list more items and it would go level, and then it would go down again, and then I'd list more items, it would go level for a few months, then down, and then I'd have to list more and more items, it would go up a bit and then level, but year on year it was staying the same or dropping, even though I was doing much more work. And also, eBay, unfortunately, is a race to the bottom. So, for example, to begin with, I could sell like a master socket kit with the screws, the punch down tool, instructions for £7 or £8. It used to cost me £2 plus VAT, so that's £2.40. Postage at the time was like £1, whatever it was, including all the fees and everything. I would make about £3 on that, which is well worth putting something into an envelope and putting it together and stuff for £3. By the end of my eBay career, I wasn't even making 50p, and yet you still get people wanting to send you 6 or 7 different messages on how to install a master socket for 50p. So I'm making 50p on an item, and I've still got to spend like 5 minutes replying to a message, then reading another message and trying to work out what they're saying, and spending 10 minutes and getting back to that one. And then another 3 messages was coming in, otherwise you might get negative feedback. So it wasn't ideal. eBay, unfortunately, is a race to the bottom. So you come up with a good idea, and then somebody else sees it's a good idea after you've got the market to yourself for a month. So you're charging £15, they come in at 14. they suddenly get everything. Nobody cares that you were the one that came up with it. They get all the sales. So you level them. And then somebody else comes in at £13 and they get everything. So you bring it down to £13. This one brings it down to £12.50. Next thing you know, you're working, honestly, for like 50p an item, which you think, oh, that's all right. No, it's not all right, because you have to sell a stupid amount of items. You have to sell 100 items to make 50 quid. 100 items you're not going to post in a day, one person. There's no money to be made. So, yeah, unfortunately, eBay didn't work out. But what I did to make myself different was I always had the idea about putting on tutorials on YouTube, because then people could, instead of asking me how to do something and me repeating the same message, blue wire to number 2, white blue wire to number 5, orange with white stripes to number 3, I could do a video on it, and I could just then, the idea was to put a QR code on each of the products I'd sell. People could scan the QR code, which would link straight to the YouTube video. Then they get their tutorial. Everybody's happy. Vince has an easier life. Everything's good. So I started off on YouTube without really the idea of making money. But I didn't really know how you would make money on YouTube. But what I did think was the idea of My Mate Vince, where this QR code idea could be used for anything. You could buy a TV from Argos. At the back of it, instead of wasting paper with a paper manual, you could just have a QR code. You scan the QR code on your phone, and all of a sudden you've got someone like myself explaining every single feature of that TV. It could be the same with the toaster. It could be the same with absolutely anything. Absolutely anything. You could have a QR code on, and then you could just scan it. This was my thinking back in 2014. You could scan it. So, for example, a company could then employ me to basically make tutorials on every single one of their products, and everybody's happy then, because the company has less time trying to solve, answer messages and phone calls about how a product works. Customers over the moon, because they see how to use something rather than having to flick through a book, which most people hate reading instructions. Or you get like a disc. Well, who loads up the disc on their computer to see how to do something? So that was the idea of My Mate Vince. It was going to basically be a massive how-to channel. But to start with, I was still doing eBay. So I started to do, even though the channel was called My Mate Vince, you will see the early videos, I always hold up a Mr. Telephone card. So it was like, my name's Vince from Mr. Telephone, which will sound weird to you guys now. It sounds weird to me now because I am My Mate Vince. But yeah, I did all those tutorials about telecom stuff, and that was great for me, because then people would no longer ask me questions on my eBay, but better still, they trusted me and they wanted my exact product. So for example, you would have a load of other people that knew nothing about telecoms, that was selling telecom stuff, not a load, there were some really knowledgeable people in eBay that sold telecom stuff, but you would have other people, the people that just sell everything. They just sell everything from like cutlery all the way to garden furniture. You started having those people selling the popular telecom items because they knew what they would sell. These are the sort of people that would sell it for like, I don't know, they're probably getting it straight from China or somehow getting it through some backdoor or grey import or something, and they'd be selling the master socket, which I'm paying £2.40 for. They'd be selling it for £2.99. I'm thinking, well, how? That and the postage is more than what you're selling it for, and I'm not getting ripped off here. It's just there's a lot of kind of dodgy, I don't know, people are getting things in weird ways. But anyway, so the good thing was I could still charge my £7 for that master socket, or I think at the time I might have brought it down to £5.50 or something, and people would want my one because they want the exact one that they've seen in the video. And then I could have a little junction box, and other people might sell it for £1.99. I could sell it for like £3.99 or £4 or £5 with a tool, because people wanted the exact one they've seen in the video. And that was it. So it was great. So basically, by doing the YouTube videos, I then prolonged my career on eBay. And instead of just going down all the time, yes, it was more steady. It was still a little bit down, but it was much more steady. We're not talking about making a lot of money. We're talking about basically making a telephone engineer's wage, but just working from home doing the eBay stuff. But then I realised that back then you could be monetized straight away. I realised that you can make money on YouTube. So these videos that I was getting, although they weren't bringing in a lot of views, not only were they making me extra money on eBay, but I was getting like a few pence here and there. And I remember when I made my first £1, I'm not talking about £1 a day, when I made my first £1 overall, because it was like no money one day, 2p one day, no money, 3p, no money, 6p. One day I think I made 20 something p, and I was like, wow. And then I could see how this could scale. So then I got, I I got the Xbox One. My wife got me an Xbox One for Christmas when they were still quite expensive, or very expensive then. I can't remember what date, 2000 and it would be 2014, wouldn't it? And then I thought to myself, well, there's loads of questions that need answering on this Xbox One. Looked up on YouTube and see, back then there might have been videos going back from, I don't know, let's say 2012 or 2013 where people were still using their phone. And no offence, but they might be, for example, a 14-year-old, they'll have their phone in portrait, not landscape. So you've got borders down the screen and you've got some shaky picture on something, really low resolution, rooms pitch black, and they might be swearing or they might be waffling on about something or other. So I started doing videos on, for example, the Xbox, how to connect up the controller, how to do the TV tuner, and all weird stuff that I'm into, like the AV stuff, how to set it up in a different room and, you know, push your controller through USB to RJ45, you know, Ethernet, and then extenders and putting it through my network in my home, and people were enjoying it. And then I was getting much more views because all of a sudden the telecom was just UK. When it comes to Xbox, it's worldwide, and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, hold on now, you can actually make money from videos, just from the views. And then, for example, how to sync up your Xbox controller. If you were to Google that now, there's a good chance you're going to see a MyMate video on Google. So that then brings in more views, because people mostly Google something, and then they watch a video, so they might not even be searching for you on YouTube, but they'll search on Google and you'll be there. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, hold on a minute, like you can make money. Like it might be like a few pounds a month just from one video. And you're thinking, oh wow, if you were to scale this, and my dream was always to get to 1,000 videos. I still haven't got to 1,000 videos, but I thought if I could get to 1,000 videos, even if they just make 50p or £1 each, then that will be 500 to £1,000 a month. And you see then the odd video might do very well and then some might do very bad, but hopefully it would all average out. So that was my dream, to always get to 1,000 videos and have £1 each video. So that is how I started on YouTube. Started through eBay and then through the Xbox, and then basically seen potential, and then I just loved doing the how-to videos. So I was doing things on like, you know, the personal assistants, the Amazon Echoes, and you know, Google Homes and all the rest of it, that sort of stuff. And then of course the trying to fix videos kicked in again by accident. I bought a job lot of stuff, wasn't even sure whether to film it or not, because I just do like fixing stuff around the home anyway. But I thought I'd film it. I think it was about 2 hours. I edited it down to 50 minutes. I thought nobody's going to watch this. Held on to the video for maybe a few weeks or something. I thought I'd give it a go, put it on there, and everybody was like, not everybody, but a few people like, can you make this into a series? And that's why I suddenly got so many subscribers so quickly. So basically I started in 2014. It took me up until 2018 to get 100,000 subscribers, but then from 2018 to 2020 now, I got 400,000 subscribers in 2 years, and that's because of the trying to fix videos. So we'll go into that a little bit more later. But the name, how did I get the name My Mate Vince? This is really simple. Basically, when we were about 19 or so, my friend Jonathan Tarrant, hope you don't mind me using his name, you could just call him Johnny, he was getting a car stereo for his car. I don't know what he had at the time. I think it was a massive Volvo Estate or something. I can't even remember. But anyway, he was getting a stereo. So he was like, will you come to Tottenham Court Road with me and we'll, you know, pick a stereo out? Because Tottenham Court Road then, I don't know about now, had loads of electrical shops, and it was just stereo after stereo shop after stereo shop. So, you know, everything was really, you could get a good deal there because everybody was competing against each other. And then when he bought the stereo in the shop, they made him fill out this little form. And I don't know really why they made him do it, but it seemed quite serious at the time. We had to fill in his name, his address. And it said on it, who will be installing your radio? Now, they were probably wanting like a company name or something like that, maybe for a database. And he just put in My Mate Vince. And I don't know why I found that so funny. Obviously, he was just like joking around on the form. But for me, it just stuck. My Mate Vince. I just liked it. I don't know why. Who's installing it? My Mate Vince. And that's when I thought about the YouTube. Like, for example, you're down the pub and you've done something on your phone. How do you know how to do that? Oh, My Mate Vince. Who's a mate of yours? Nah. He's on YouTube. And then like something else, like, how do you know that? My Mate Vince. My Mate Vince. I just kind of like it. Now, what I didn't really take into account at the time is that mate is more of a UK thing and maybe an Australian thing. And mate means something completely different in America. But you know what? I didn't really think about that at the time now. But one thing, it is a little bit different, isn't it? My Mate Vince. Back then, I would always get the sort of mickey taken out of me for having the name Vince. My real name is Vincent, but everyone calls me Vince because, you know what? Especially back then, it was quite an unusual name. It wasn't really, unless unless you were some sort of Italian gangster or something. There wasn't really many people called Vince. So I just thought it was a bit different. It probably wouldn't have the same ring if it was like My Mate John or My Mate Peter. The very fact it's Vince, it sort of like looks like a kind of bit of a jokey name anyway. So yeah, that's where the name came from. Really simple. So yeah, I am now going to show you my equipment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get my phone to film this bit. So here it is, the long-awaited video of how I do all my filming. Now, I bought this camera. This is a Sony. Turn it round. I bought this not even for YouTube. This is because lots of people ask me this. There you go. It's a HDR. Sorry, I'm not used to using my phone. CX280. Now, I bought that just to have some memories of filming the kids when they were young. I didn't buy that to do YouTube, but I've been using that ever since. It wasn't even expensive when I bought it. You can see it's not like a precision, amazing camera or anything, but you know what? It does the job. So it just shows you don't have to go out and spend thousands of pounds on a camera in order to earn a living from YouTube. Now, I bought myself a tripod. Again, this tripod is that's the make there. I think I got it from PC World or something like that for 20 something or 30 pounds. And the way I get my overhead shots is quite simple. Look, I extend one of the legs so it's not up straight, and I put a dumbbell or some bit of weight on the back there. And now I've got an overhead camera, and obviously I can extend this out this way. So if I was to undo this one here and move this out, you can see it moves out here. And then you get your higher shots and your lower shots, etc. like that. Now, I know my filming and editing and stuff is really bad, but what I'm getting at is, does it really make that much of a difference when my videos are not about filming and editing? As long as you've got like okay lighting, they're all in 1080p, so they're not 4K. But then again, 1080p is full HD. I think it's good enough. I don't intend to actually change that camera yet. So yeah, that's the camera and the tripod. And then only recently, as in maybe 100,000 subscribers ago, did I buy these big studio lights here. So you can see them down there, and I bought two of them. Yeah, that one there, and there's another one here, and I just sort of angled them roughly over my item. These again, just cheap quality. They were, I think, £50 for two of them from Amazon, but I started off without them. I think I got to maybe 400,000 subscribers, or definitely 300 without them. The reason I got them is because I changed a lot of the lights over in the house to LED, and they just weren't as bright, so I kind of needed these to shine light down. So that's them. Now, if you want a nicer background, what I have is things like, pieces of card. So this is just like a big sheet of, I don't know what you would call this, modelling card or something. And you get it from places like Hobbycraft. You can get it in different colours, or just get something like black card. And then you see you have a nice backdrop to work on. Yeah, again, nothing high-tech, all really, really cheap. And I know that a lot of people slate me for the quality of my videos as far as the filming and stuff is concerned, but that's what I'm saying. Is it that important? So in another 10 years, maybe it is important to have everything perfect on YouTube, because the quality is definitely everything. Everybody's up in their game on there. So maybe I won't be able to get away with my standard for much longer. But certainly now, yes, I get a bit of grief on some of my videos, but not much. I don't have every single video where people say, oh, the filming's unwatchable, the lighting's awful, oh, the shadows, the this, the that, and the other. So I wouldn't be put off. If you want to start YouTube, I personally wouldn't go out and spend thousands of pounds on equipment, really expensive equipment. Maybe see what you've got around the house. Phones nowadays, I mean, right now I'm filming on my phone here. And yes, my hand's shaking and stuff, but even phones now will give you, I think, a good enough picture to start off. You might not even like doing YouTube, because what you'll know is when you start doing it is that you might see an hour video, but that video is taken at least 2 days to make. So when I do a fix-it video, you might see an hour or an hour 15 minutes. That could have taken me 6 or 7 hours, and then I've got to edit that down, and this is the painful bit. So to edit it down is probably going to take a good 6 hours or so, and then you see you need to process it, and then you need to watch it back. So not only have you done the video so you know the outcome, you've then edited it so you know the outcome, and then you have to watch back an hour 15 minutes of something that you already know the outcome and you've already edited for hours on end. It is painful, but I have to watch it back to make sure that it is as I think it is, because sometimes when I edit using my program, which I'll show you in a minute, it doesn't process, it doesn't always come out the same as how I edited it. So sometimes I have to change things about. Yes, I definitely do need to upgrade my editing software, but again, what I use is Movie Maker. It's free and it is as basic can get. You can hardly do any features on it. You can't blur anything out or anything like that. It's really limited. But again, I'm not lying to you. I've got to 500k by using the equipment that you see here and Movie Maker. Let me quickly show you Movie Maker. Well, so Movie Maker just looks like this. So this is the icon here. I don't know if it's still free. I don't know if you can still get it or not, but it was just a free program that came with Windows, that was bundled with Windows when I first of all started this in 2014. Now it is so basic. I'll be honest, I probably have outgrown this now because there's certain times when I want to do something and I can't do it. For example, like voiceovers and stuff are just a pain because I can only have either the audio off the original video or I can basically put in music, but I can't have multiple layers. So essentially this is why my videos are so basic, but also I don't know how to edit. It would take me time to learn, but I am willing to do that, and I know I will have to do that in the future. But basically this gives you the basic things like what you see in my videos. So you've got your titles, and you can crop it and cut bits out, you can fast forward, you can add captions in where you need to add captions in, and yeah, this is basically a video on how I'm fixing a power bank. This is a quick version. And yeah, you just work your way through, and then at the end of the video you save it as, I think it was an MP4 or something like that. It recommends you what to save it onto anyway, and then yeah, that's it, and then I have to watch it back. So it's a very basic program, but you see, although it hasn't got the features you would need as you get better, to start out, it's something if you just want to sort of test things out. You can edit a video up on here. It's not going to take you ages to learn at all because it's so lacking in features. And then you see, you might work out that actually this thing isn't for you. In which case then, do you want to have gone out there and kind of like paid for a very expensive package or signed up to something where you may pay per month for a year or however it works for a package that you might not necessarily need? So yeah, that's Movie Maker. That's my equipment. Now I know that I need to get better equipment, but I've managed to get as far as I have now by just using what I already had, apart from the tripod and the two studio lights. But between both of them, that's about £75. So you can see now that I'm actually earning a living from YouTube by using stuff and spending an extra £75. It's not a huge outlay, which is, I think that's pretty interesting. Right, so we're sat back over here now. I've done the background, done the name, done the equipment. So now, the money side of things. Can't really talk about money because I don't even think if I wanted to that I'm allowed to because of some AdSense rules or YouTube rules. But even if I could, I wouldn't be telling you how much I earn anyway because that's just not what we do in the UK. I don't know whether it's the same worldwide or not. But yeah, what I will say is I earn more than BT. But don't go by, if you Google me, what you see. One of the things says that I earn 400k or 500k a year. I can tell you that is definitely not true. If it was true, I'd probably be in the Bahamas somewhere, really enjoying my life. That same article also says that I'm Canadian, so it just shows you can't go by what. And I've never even been to Canada, so you can't always go by what you read on the internet. But because I don't put myself out there anywhere really, apart from YouTube, nobody really knows anything about me online. So there's no kind of there's no real information. Which is how really I want it to be, because I don't want to be any sort of limelight, even if this was to grow to 10 million, which is not going to. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so basically, if I was to add up the hours I do, then I probably actually wouldn't be that much better off than being a BT engineer, because I do a stupid amount of hours each week. With BT, I did 37.5 hours. I probably work, honestly, I think I probably do about more than 15 hours a day, maybe even. Yeah, I probably would do 15 hours a day, and sometimes that's 7 days a week. I get by on about 5 or 6 hours sleep. A lot of nights I get 4 hours sleep, which I know is not good for me. But then at the weekend I catch up. Might not get out of bed till 11 o'clock at the weekends. So, you know, I don't work all the time. I would then have a holiday. I don't think anything last summer. I think it's funny, if you type My Mate Vince into the internet, one of the things that come up with is what's happened to My Mate Vince. And I don't think they mean like, why has my videos gone so bad? I think some people might have been concerned. Well, I know they were concerned because I got some messages about why I didn't release a video for about 3 weeks last summer. It's because I had an extended holiday, and yeah, I just think sometimes when you stop doing videos for a while, you get out of the routine and you don't kind of want to get back into it again. So, yeah, if you money can be very good on YouTube, but it can also be very bad. It depends on many things. What you're doing, it also depends on where your views are coming from. If your views are coming from America, you're going to be getting more views than if maybe your views are coming from India, because I presume the advertisements can be sold for more. I don't really get involved in any of that because it's out of my control. If I'm getting viewed in India, fantastic. If I'm getting viewed in Australia, fantastic. As long as the views are coming in, I'm happy. Now for me, views is much more important than subscribers. So a lot of people judge about how good or bad a channel is by how many subscribers they have. When you meet other YouTubers, often the question is how many subscribers you've got. Now I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to feel good now. I feel like I'm more serious if I can say, yes, I've got 500,000. Do you know what I mean? There's something nice about that. Yes, I've got 500,000 subscribers. I suppose what it is now, if somebody asks me what I do, and I have to say, I still feel bad saying I'm a YouTuber, so I might say something like, oh, I do online tutorials, or I do fix-it and how-to videos on YouTube. And then they'd be like, oh, how many subscribers have you got? Oh, 500,000. Nobody's going to be like, oh, you must be rubbish then. Do you see what I mean? But if I had 5,000, they might think, well, you're just a joke. But maybe I've just started out on the 5,000. Maybe a year later, that person with 5,000 might be beating me. So it doesn't mean that I'm better than him if I've got more subscribers than him. It's just maybe we started at different times, and I've been doing this for quite a while now. But people definitely judge you by how many subscribers you've got. But that's why I put down here, turnover is vanity. Because there's a saying that I heard years ago, and I've written it down here. It's turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is reality. So basically, I knew, just through a friend of a friend, this guy that sold tickets in London, and he had £1 million turnover. And he made next to no profit. But he had £1 million turnover because there were so many overheads between staff. The premises, it was like a tiny thing that he was renting out, but that cost like hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. So turnover really is vanity. It makes no difference. You could turn over £10 million a year. But if you're not making any profit or you're not getting any cash out of that, then it's absolutely pointless turning over £10 million a year. You might as well turn over £20,000 a year and have £10,000 cash at the end of it, because you'll be much better off with much less stress. So I think it's similar with YouTube. You could easily change that to subscribers is vanity, views is sanity, but cash is reality. So there's no point in having a load of subscribers if you're not getting the views in. And there's no point in getting views unless those views are from countries that pay the money. So it'd be much better now to have, for example, 50,000 subscribers, but get a load of views from America, than maybe have, I don't know, like 500,000 subscribers, but get views from a country that doesn't pay much. Because at the end of the day, most people do this for money. And that doesn't have to sound as bad as it does, because people are like, I do it for the love of it. No, you don't. Let's be honest here. Not many people will do YouTube for the love of it, unless they're doing it for some other reason. For example, I started YouTube to make money on eBay. So if, for example, they said, oh, we're not paying any more on telecom videos, at the time I would have been, oh, I don't care, because I was only making pennies anyway. I'll make my money from eBay because of the YouTube videos. But the people that really rely on YouTube through the ad revenue, then yes, they can still make money from affiliates, which is basically selling stuff on Amazon and eBay, and they can still make money on merchandise, they can still make money on Patreon, all of which things I need to do the affiliates. You know, that's not going to harm anybody doing the affiliates. Still feel a bit weird about Patreon. And merch, I don't really see why anybody would want to walk around with a My Mate Vince t-shirt. But yeah, you can still make money from the affiliates and stuff like that. But if YouTube said tomorrow that they're not going to pay any more, I'm telling you, YouTube would be gone, because there would be so few people actually putting videos out there. There still might be the odd funny one of maybe somebody falling over or something like that. But all these people doing different reviews about different things and stuff like that, they're not doing it for the love of the video. They're doing it for the money. I will admit, I do this for the money. This is my job. If somebody said to me, Vince, I want you to review a lamp, but this lamp is only going to make you £1 on views, because obviously reviewing a lamp I don't think would be very popular. Why would I spend half a day doing it for £1? Do you see what I mean? It's not going to happen. So, I mean, there has to be a level between what's kind of clickbaity and what's kind of honest. So my trying to fix videos, unfortunately, a lot of them make next to no money. But at the same time, I like doing them, and I know it's what the subscribers like to see. But what does annoy me is when my subscribers will say to me, for example, I do a video on maybe, it might be something really simple, like Honestly, it could be something like how to change the batteries in an Xbox controller, and be like, what do you think we're idiots? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows this. But you know what? No, not everybody does know this. You know it, and that's why you think it's idiotic to do the video. But I can see the results, and I'm telling you that a video on how to change the Xbox controller, batteries, or how to, a beginner's guide to setting up, I did one before Christmas, beginner's guide to setting up the Nintendo Switch Lite, outperformed every one of my trying to fix videos over the Christmas period. So, am I stupid for doing it? Of course not. I do videos because I need to make money out of them. So I know sometimes I might do a fix-it video on something like that Simon Says, you know, the thing. It's never going to get more than 15 or 20,000 views. General rule is that you get around $1 per thousand. I get a bit more because my videos are longer. But even still, let's say if you were to get £2 or £3 per thousand, which most of the time I don't get. 20,000, okay, so you get £1, that's going to be 20 quid. You get £2, that's going to be on 20,000 views, £40. Well, £40 is fine if the video only takes you maybe an hour and basically a couple of hours to edit and stuff. That's fine. You know, half a day's work, £40. That's okay. I'm happy enough with that because you know the next year it might make that'd be 40. Well, no, that's overall. But you see, the next year it might grow more and it might make another £5 the next year. Another year it might make another £5. So eventually you will get your money back. But you need to be a little bit careful about the videos that you do, and I know sometimes I can get grief over some videos that I do, but I need to do those videos in order to do the videos that the subscribers like. So I know the majority of subscribers will like the try to fix videos, but I have to do those how-to videos in order to make money to subsidise the trying to fix videos like that Simon Says, which is never going to really pay, because the thing is that doesn't make me £2 or £3 per thousand, and that doesn't get 20. I haven't looked. I'd be unlikely to get 20,000 views. So when I do something that people will say, oh, that's obvious, changing a wiper on a car, well, wipers are worldwide. A lot of people have trouble changing the wipers on their car. And do you know what? That video doesn't take me a day to film, and it doesn't take me a day to edit. It might take like an hour to film and, you know, set up and stuff, and it might take me an hour to edit. And then you see that video might go on to make a few £100, in which case then that's very well paid, much better paid than I could get in BT. So views, and more importantly, money at the end of it is the most important thing. Turnover, or subscribers in this instance, really isn't that important, and that's going to annoy a lot of people, but it is the truth. Good thing about having more subscribers is more people get a chance to watch your video because they get notified of it. So of course somebody with 1 million subscribers will get more views than somebody with 2,000 subscribers. But I'm going to show you Social Blade now, and when I had less than 100,000 subscribers, I was getting more views than I am now with 500,000 subscribers. So I am telling you the truth. When people have massive amounts of subscribers, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're making massive amounts of money. Money is the important thing at the end of the day, not subscribers. So now I'm going to show you Social Blade. Okay, so here we have the Social Blade website, and you can type in the username of the person up here, and then it will bring up some information about their channel. So if you have a look here, I've got 949 uploads, 501,000 subscribers, being viewed 197 million times, from GB, how-to channels, and it was created in 2014. And then underneath that you will sort of have a Social Blade rank, and where you come in the UK, your country, and various other things like that. And then you will have what you earn roughly per month and roughly per year. Now, obviously these vary massively, so all I can think of is this is what happens where, depending on the views you get and also the market you're in. Maybe if you were selling yachts and I was getting the amount of views I do, maybe I would be on 244,000. But maybe if I was doing Minecraft videos, I would only be on 15,000. So the range is in between that. But from my point of view, I wouldn't know anybody that would be on the top figure here on the YouTube thing. I think most people would be on maybe a multiple of 2 or 3 or 4 off the lower figure here. But obviously they've got this here, so some people must be on that. But I don't know what industry, what videos you would have to be doing to be earning that much for the amount of views you do. Then basically it tells you here your subscribers, how many video views you get. So I've been doing really well recently. and I've been getting 261, according to this, 261,000 views a day. These are daily averages, and over the last month you see that equates to nearly 8 million views. So now I've had a very good December time, because it's Christmas time. You're always going to get a load of views on how-to videos over the Christmas period. But you see, this will drop now to half, because if you have a look up here, you see views for the last 30 days, it's gone up 32%. And also November is a very good month to have as well. So if you compare that to maybe, let's say, January or February, I'm sure it's going to be a lot lower. In fact, does it say here, has it dropped? Well, if you look here now, over sort of the end of Christmas, I was getting like 300 views a day, 314, and now can you see yesterday, Wednesday, it dropped to 207. So you can already see it's gone down by about a third, hasn't it? But anyway, this just varies month on month. I have no control over any of this, so it's kind of pointless even looking at it. Basically, as long as I get paid each month, I'm happy. Now, that is a good amount of views for my amount of subscribers. But other people will have much more subscribers than me, but they'll get much less views. Then other people will have much less subscribers than me, and they might get more views. So that's what I mean. I'm not being nasty by saying that subscribers is vanity. But that's the truth of it. It's views that count. Well, it's not just views. Views are important, but it's the cash you get on those views, which is the most important thing. Now, remember I said about how I was getting just as much views back then. Well, if you have a look, I changed over to 100,000 subscribers in February 2018. So if you have a look here, in January 2018, I was getting 6,400,000 views. Yeah. Now let's go all the way over to now, January 2020, and yes, like I said, I've had a very good month. 7 million. Yeah, 7.5. But look here, this was in October and November. Yeah. So look. Can you see here? 5.5 million. So if it goes back to this, which it will, I've only had this peak because of the Christmas period. If it goes back to this, and if we take the same period last year, hold on now, where was I October last year? There you go. There you go, 5, 6, so the same, roughly the same. So I've done so much videos, worked so many hours over the past year to stay exactly the same. And if we were to go back a year before, yeah, see that's down there. See, this is when I went full time in, I think it was August 2018. No, 2017 when I went full time. So that's why I had this massive increase, yeah? So you can see that I was all the way down here, and then I went full time and bang, because I had so much time to do videos. But if you kind of look around this period here, can you see? So essentially I'm doing the same now as I was doing 2 years ago, even though I've got much more subscribers. So that's, that's the facts there. And if you look at the subscribers here, you can see that right now I'm actually lower than I was getting years ago. So for example, 11,000 subscribers in October, August 11,000, September 9,000, and if you go all the way over here, look at this. This is in 2017, November, that's 14,000. So you can see much more subscribers then than now. So basically, this brings me on to the next thing about the future. What do I think the future of YouTube is in 10 years' time? Well, I don't want to say this. I would love it if it was just to go on and on. But I think YouTube will go on and on. I just think it's going to be harder and harder. I think more regulation and stuff will come in. And you can already see the signs here that I'm putting more and more work in. So for example, 100,000 subscribers here, 500,000 subscribers here. Yet no difference. 100,000 subscribers, well, you can't, yeah, okay, well, 100,000 subscribers here, 500,000 subscribers here. So much more people in theory could be viewing me. Yet they're not telling their mates and stuff because look, this graph is not going up. This graph is not going up. They're level. Now, I'm very lucky to have even got to this level. I think if you're starting now, which we'll talk about in a bit, I think if you're starting, it's going to be much harder. But in my hand on heart, do I think I'll be doing this in 10 years' time? I hope I am, and I hope I can watch back on this video and say, God, what was I worried about? But I'm a realist, and I've seen the decline of BT. Kodak, where I worked, is now gone. It doesn't exist anymore. That factory in Harrow has now been turned into a housing estate. So if I was to stay in Kodak, I wouldn't have a job anymore. If I was to stay in BT, there's trackers on the van and there's all sorts of, I think, hassle there now. So I'm glad I got out of that one. eBay, as far as I'm concerned, is dead and buried. I think it's too hard to make any money on eBay. So if I'd stayed in that, it'd be gone. Now I'm really grateful and I love what I'm doing now. Honestly, I couldn't be happier. I don't know if that's going to come across in the video. Remember, I'm just being truthful here, and that's why I'm sort of saying the bad points. I love what I'm doing, and I am so grateful. I'm so lucky to be. Well, luck? Is it luck? Yes, I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing, but it's not really luck. Because the thing is, I've actually gone out there and done that. Do you see what I mean? You know, I've taken the risks to do this. There's not a lot of things happen in life with luck. People say people are lucky. Well, not really, no. Most people have gone out to do what they need to do, and they might have failed 10 times doing things before they got lucky. But it's not getting lucky, is it? It's just because they fail 10 times and they're persevering at something. So you really need to persevere at anything to become successful. And maybe if I was good at YouTube and I really knew what I was doing, maybe I could be growing this all the time. But I'm kind of trying my best, and it's kind of leveling. It's leveling out. So I think what's happening is there's more and more content coming on YouTube, and the content's getting good. I'm looking at, sometimes feel guilty, I'm looking at channels that have really good content, and the editing's nice and it's filmed nice and they speak clearly and everything, and they're getting next to no views. And I'm thinking, well, that's unfair, because then I'll do something and I'll end up burning a board or doing something completely wrong, and I'll get the views. And I think what's happening is it's only going to get better. So more and more people will get better at editing, using better cameras, better this, and the standard's going to go up and up. There's more and more people doing it all the time, but yet there's not more and more people watch. Well, maybe there is more and more people watching all the time, but I think the level of people doing it is more than watching it. So you might have the same amount of eyes, but they're watching more videos. So that's why you're going to be getting less and less, even though I'm doing more and more videos. Much so, I've probably got like 3 times the amount of videos that I had here, or maybe at least twice the amount of videos, but yet I'm not getting twice the views because it's being shared around more and more eyes. So yes, as more and more countries develop, they might be watching more and more YouTube, or China for example, and then this might continue to grow. But personally, I think it's going to be getting harder and harder to do YouTube, and for me, I think it's going to be a case of, yes, I hope it will continue to grow, and I hope I'll come up with more and more ideas. But I'm a realist, and I'm not sure at this moment in time. I've got all my eggs in the YouTube basket, and already now with the scare before Christmas about this copper thing coming out, when it was all supposed to be like, you know, going to be really very strict and black and white, and a lot of my videos would contain something of a Nintendo Switch, and I thought I'd have to flag that as for kids. As it turns out, I don't, because my videos are not for kids. It is fine to have some kids watch it. It's kind of obvious when you watch a for kids video, because it's like kind of watching, I don't know, Sesame Street or something like that. But yeah, it's I need to sort of put other things in action as well. So this year now I might be doing more affiliate links, because then if YouTube take away some of their revenue or something, at least then I might be able to make a little bit of money from Amazon and eBay. Other avenues, you know, like website ideas and stuff. I've got a book full of ideas basically, and they're not all YouTube related. So as long as I keep working on different ideas, then it's kind of like a safety net for me. So when something does go wrong on YouTube, hopefully I will be able to run with some of my other stuff, even if it's a case of going back to selling stuff on eBay. So that brings me on to the next thing now, which should you start? Now, for example, my son's always saying, can I do a Fortnite video, Dad? Because he's pretty good on Fortnite. Can I do Fortnite videos? Do you know what? It's pointless, because Fortnite is already all sewn up. You've got Ali A, Ninja, you know, you've got loads of people doing Fortnite videos, and they're good, and they get loads of views already. And it's not that they're doing anything different than anybody else, but maybe they were doing it first, maybe they already got their following up there. So yes, I still think there is definitely money to be made from YouTube, but I think you need to be doing the right thing. If you said to me you're going to start doing Minecraft or Fortnite videos, I think you're going to be in for a very tough ride. When I started, it was telecoms. There was nobody else doing telecoms, so I already had that head start because nobody else was doing it. Secondly, I was selling telecom stuff to everybody in the UK daily, selling like 30, 40 items a day. In each of those packages, I put in a little slip saying check out my YouTube channel for the tutorials. So then they're automatically going to be getting viewed. Then, for example, if you go on to Google, so if I was to type in Google now, and if I was to type in something like how to change a master socket. Now, I haven't actually done this one before. I'm hoping I'm going to be there. But there you go. proof is in the pudding. I promise you I didn't do that on purpose. Look, there you go. How to change an old StarMaster socket, how to change an NTE, and a quick version there. Even back then I did quick versions. And also I kind of get shared around different forums and stuff, because I was really I'm not saying I was the first. Well, I think I was the first kind of main one to be doing UK telecoms, and also there is already people doing like worldwide sort of networking stuff. But you see, because I get the views there, they then go on to watch my networking videos. So I already got a head start, and this got me views in before doing anything else. So I think it depends what you do. If you're working in some kind of niche, or if you've got a hobby that's a real niche, definitely do YouTube, because then you're going to have that market to yourself, and then you can go on to other things. But if you're just going to rechurn something that somebody else has already done, so for example now, I know people might want to do trying to fix videos, absolutely fine, you know, great, the more the merrier. There's not that many people doing them. But the thing is, there's not actually going to be that many eyes on them either. So let's say now, if over the next few years, say if there was another 40 people just doing generic trying to fix videos, then you can see how it's going to be affected. And then what will happen is it just works just like any other market in the world. I, for example, won't be making as much money, so then I'll have to do something else. And then other people think, I'm not doing this, I'm only making like £1 a day, I'm not doing this. Then it will get to the stage where there's only 4 people doing it, and then you see they can earn a living off it. Until somebody else says, oh, they're earning a good living off it, I'm going to do it. Then there's 5, then there's 6, then there's 7, then there's 10, then there's 20. And then it has to level out between what people are prepared to work for. So no matter what you do, you're only ever going to have the market to yourself for a short amount of time. So, for example, maybe, but what can happen is if you're the first in, you might put off other people from doing it. So with the telecom videos now, other people might think, no point in doing it because there's already a load of telecom videos on there from my mate Vince. But then you get somebody else that would say, I can do it much better than my mate Vince, so I'm going to do my own version. And then what will happen is, as times move on, their one will be more current, and then they will take all the views from me. That's just the way it goes. Just like on the Xbox ones, I would have been taking views off other people like that. So I mean, it's all a very interesting thing, and I would say definitely give it a go. Definitely, you know, give a YouTube channel a go, but I personally wouldn't recommend going out and spending thousands of pounds on the best camera and the best lighting equipment, or going out and renting your studio or converting your garage into a studio. I don't think that YouTube is that strict yet, the viewers, that they need everything to be perfect. For example, if you watch something on the BBC, it might not necessarily, nowadays it will be perfect. Like if you watch something wildlife related on the BBC, you're like, oh my God, it's just stunning. It's just a feast for the eyes, it's beautiful. But, I don't know this, but I'm guessing if you were to watch a wildlife documentary maybe 50 years ago, it wouldn't be that good. So, sorry, good for the time, but what I mean is, that maybe in 10 years time YouTube will have to be amazing. You know, to be on it you might have to be amazing, otherwise all the viewers might say, oh God, this is awful. But at this moment in time you can still get away with a slightly shaky hand or lighting that's not perfect, because as long as the person gets to know what they need to know on that how-to video or on the trying to fix video, as long as they see, you know, a little bit of entertainment or me burning myself or something like that, as long as that comes across, then I think you can still get away with it now. So personally, my advice would be to not spend a fortune. Just maybe try to do it with what you've got. And if the views start coming in, then of course invest in better equipment and, you know, better editing software and stuff like that. But I don't think that should be a barrier to entry, thinking that you have to save up £2,000 to get the good equipment to start with. That's my opinion on it all anyway. But the bottom line is that it is amazing, hence the big thanks, that I have got 500k. And again, if you, like I said, if you said that 10 years ago, I would have been amazed. I remember when I started in 2014, I seen like channels with like 300,000 subscribers and thought they were massive YouTubers, and now I've got 500. The weird thing is, now that I'm doing it myself, I sort of think, oh yeah, 500 isn't that much, because you see the other people that you're used to watching, like Tronics Fix and stuff like that, they're all creeping up to that level as well. So you kind of all get pushed along together. And I suppose somebody starting out now might think that I've got a big channel, but if somebody said to me, Vince, have you got a big channel? I'd say, no, I haven't got a big channel. that's what I'd say. I haven't got a big channel, but yet when I started, I thought 500 was a big channel. Now I sort of see people with like 2 million, and I think, oh yeah, they've got a big following. But maybe the people with 2 million sort of think, no, I haven't got a big channel. People with 10 million have a big channel. I mean, I really don't know, but I mean, it's all been a huge heap of fun along the way. And as far as I'm concerned, long may it continue, and I hope it continues on. I really want to at least get another few years out of it before I have to go on to the next stage of my life. What that will be, I haven't got a clue. If I could get another 10 years out of this, I would be so happy. I'm just not sure whether that's going to be possible or not. But still, we all have to see what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's gone on for a long time, but then again, all of my videos do. Hope you made it to the end. If you have, then I really appreciate that. I heard that maybe that you've learnt a few things along the way, and I hope I haven't discouraged you from anything. I really want to encourage people to give things a go in life. If you're unhappy with something, do something to change that, because other people won't. It will only be you that can make yourself happy by changing whatever it is that's making you unhappy. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and you never know, maybe I might be seeing you at 1 million subscribers. Take care. Bye now.